Customs assessment notice and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Sports Talk. It is Saturday, July 23. I'm Daniel Blake. Thank you so much for joining me. Sports Talk is brought to you by the Jamaica Customs Agency, country above self. Before I tell you what's happening in the show today, remember there are several different ways that you can listen to the show. You can do it on your radio on 101.1 to 101.9, depending on where you are in Jamaica. You can be on the move and on the go using your smart device and downloading the app in the Google Play or Apple Store. You can go in your internet browser, love101.org, or you can tune into Facebook and YouTube and see me live right now. So hello, everybody. You can also listen to the show again. I recommend it to a friend, whatever you want to do. I wouldn't mind the extra support. So you can tell them to go back on Facebook and YouTube and also the app, and then you'll be able to hear the show again. Or if you just want to hear it for yourself, that's fine with me. So we are on day 9 of the World Athletics Championships in Eugene, Oregon. The first 8 days have been absolutely spectacular. We've seen some top performances, especially from our athletes, including Sherika Jackson on Thursday with one of the greatest track and field performances in history in the 200 meters. Just missed out on that world record. I really thought that she would get it, but she have time, don't worry. She have time. And we also saw Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce getting silver in that event. Shanika Ricketts getting silver in the triple jump. Amazing achievement. And then we saw some of our Jamaicans competing on Friday night. And Dwayne Extol, track and field expert, former national athlete, and my good friend. We'll be talking about it right after the 9:15 break. So don't go anywhere. Remember, you can leave your comments if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook. Leave them in the comments there, or WhatsApp us, and we will get those comments out there. All right. So it's going to be a great day 9, and then on Sunday we'll see some exciting action there as well. All right. So sometimes you sort of, lose track of some major sporting points because the World Championships are going on. But yeah, other sports are going on and things. So it's time for your sports bits for the day, which is a sports update. And then we'll go into my monologue for this week. All right. So this sports bit's not going to have much World Championships things because we're going to be talking about that with Dwayne. But we're going to start out with track and field because rising sprint star Kemba Nelson will train in Jamaica next season as she joins the Elite Performance Track Club led by head coach Ronaldo Walcott. The 22-year-old world champs 100-meter silver medalist, who signed a pro contract with apparel giants Puma recently, has spent the last 2 years at the University of Oregon. She will have good company at the Elite Performance, which has reigning world champion and the sprint legend Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. The Sunshine Girls are now in the UK as they look to challenge for gold in the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, England. Jamaica won back-to-back bronze medals at the last 2 editions in 2014 and 2018, but has never gotten to a final. The team will be led by captain and the star shooter Janelle Fowler, and will feature top players like Shamira Sterling, Shimona Nelson, Katie-Ann Dehaney, Jodie Ward, and Latanya Wilson, who all play professionally overseas. The Sunshine Girls will play in Group A with the 2018 runners-up Australia, South Africa, Scotland, Wales, and Barbados, with the top 2 advancing to the semi-finals. Now, president of the Jamaica Football Federation, Michael Ricketts, has made assurances that the Reggae Girls will have Lorne Donaldson and his staff on a permanent contract. Ahead of the CONCACAF Women's Championships, Donaldson was given the role on an interim basis following Vin Blaine's resignation. However, after leading the team to a second World Cup and remain in contention for a spot at the Paris Olympics in 2024, Ricketts says that contracts will be ironed out in short order. Meanwhile, the JFF made a public apology this week after several members of the team and staff were stuck at the airport on their way back to Jamaica due to issues with their luggage. And Reggae Girls captain Khadija Shaw was named to the best 11 team of the CONCACAF Women's Championship. The 25-year-old finished as one of the tournament's top scorers with 3 goals, including 2 against Haiti, which essentially sealed Jamaica's spot at the World Cup in 2023. Midfielder Drew Spence was the only other Jamaican named to the team of the tournament. The West Indies, them a play, suffered a narrow 3-run defeat to India in their first of 3 ODIs in Trinidad on Friday. Batting first, India posted 308 for 7 of their 50 overs, and in reply, the Caribbean men fell short at 305 for 6, with Kyle Mayer 75 and Jamaican Brandon King 54 the top scorers. The second ODI bowls off on Sunday at 8:30 a.m. Jamaica time. And finally, reigning Wimbledon champion Novak Djokovic is unlikely to play at the US Open after organizers said they would respect American government rules over travel for unvaccinated players. The US requires non-citizens to be vaccinated against COVID-19 to enter, and the 35-year-old isn't vaccinated, which also saw him miss the Australian Open this year. The tournament in New York takes place from August 29 to September 11. So that is your sports bits for today. All right, it's time for my monologue for this week, the Danielog.
This is David Blake.
This is Hope Blake.
I am Ariel Brown Blake.
I'm here to tell you right now.
It's time for the Danielog.
The Danielog.
The Danielog.
I love it.
Presented by Noah.
In life, we often try to measure success of tangible things, whether it be material things or for the purpose of this monologue, it's awards. So this happens in prep school and primary school, high school, where it's drilled in you that you have to win awards to feel like, you're doing well in school. So if you're not getting prizes at the prize giving or midterm awards or anything like that, then you need to really step up your game, right? And even in university, you have different tiers of graduating with like a degree. So you have, if memory serves me right, you have upper first class honors, lower first class, upper second class, lower second class, and just that type of system. And I always, wondered why they separated it. Because once you graduate from a 3 or 4 year program, no matter which field you did, that is an achievement. That is success. Are we going to make the person who got a lower second class feel less than because he never get the first class honors that somebody get who also made the honor roll or those type of things? Both of them left university with a degree, which not everyone can say. So I think about the World Championships, for example, and a lot of times we put pressure on athletes. If they're not winning medals, they're not successful. And we've had a lot of athletes compete in this year's championships. And unfortunately, some of them made finals, didn't come away with medals. Some got to semis, whatever it is. And we look on them as failures because they didn't get the 1, 2, 3. And yeah, track and field is about who is the fastest, who jumped the highest or the longest, who threw the furthest. But being in the top 8 in the world or the top 16 or whatever it is, when you actually stop to look at it, it's a great achievement. You know, if you have a son or a daughter or a nephew or a niece who is in the top 8 of something in the world, or the top 20, or even the top 50 in the world of billions of people, isn't that success? You know, and even sometimes I have to kind of catch myself, because sometimes I'll get disappointed. You know, that's because I obviously want the best for the athletes, but I can't look at these athletes and say they're failures just because they're not get on the podium. Just because Chris Taylor never win or get a medal in the 400 meters, it don't mean say he's a failure. It don't mean say Rochelle Clayton, who finished 6th in the 400 meter hurdles, is not a success, especially after what she went through with her injuries after Doha. Frederick Dakers, Travis Michael made it to the finals of the men's discus throw. We have Jamaicans in the discus throw, and they never get on the podium, but would I regard them as a failure? No. And I could go on and on and on about the athletes who haven't medaled. But the fact that these athletes are here and competing against the best in the world and are making moves, they are a success. And when you're watching and listening to whichever coverage of the World Championships, keep that in mind. Support our athletes. Let them know that they are a success, because sometimes them feed into the social media comments where people are say, oh, them must go or them not good or that type of thing. Just remember that they put their lives on the line, literally, each day. Them are trained from about September, October, and they make it to our championships almost 9-10 months later. So appreciate our athletes, support our athletes, and let them know that they're a success no matter what medal they come home with. That's my monologue for this week, and we'll stick to the World Championships when we come back, as I'll be joined by track and field expert Dwayne Extol. So stay with us.
Need to pass your CSEC CAPE exams to get that dream job or to qualify for university? Then Distinction College is the school for you. We have locations in Kingston, Spanish Town, St. Elizabeth, and Ocho Rios. Start day, evening, and Saturday classes this coming term and sit CSEC CAPE exams for January's resit or May, June. Maths, law, science, English. We have the lowest school fees. Register before the end of the month and win an entire term free. Call us at 354-8560.
Keep fully connected with Flow Fiber Fast Internet at home and on the road with LTE data and calls for a fast, reliable experience anywhere. Over 500 communities have been upgraded since 2020, making more of Jamaica Flow Fiber Fast. And with Yard and Road, get Flow Fiber Faster Yard and LTE Road for as low as $3,999 plus GCT. Visit discoverflow.co to get connected on Jamaica's largest network. Conditions apply.
Love 101, the family station, invites you to Tech Time Drive. You can hear reminders and tips on why you should Tech Time Drive. On Tuesdays, Tech Time Drive is brought to you by Bert's Auto Parts. It hurts if you don't check Bert's. And on Wednesdays, Tech Time Drive is brought to you by AIM Financial Corporation Limited. AIM Financial Corporation has a loan for every purpose. Tech Time Drive, a bulletin of the road safety tips to help you keep safe and your head sound while driving. You only have one life. Drive it well. Tech Time Drive on the family station, Love 101.
This is Love 101, folks. The family station is 115.
Welcome back to Sports Talk here on Love 101. So, as I mentioned at the start of the show, it is day 9 of the World Athletics Championships, and it has produced 8 days of quality competition so far. Last night, we saw the men's and women's 400-meter finals, the 400-meter hurdles, and then we saw the heats of the 4x1s, and those finals will run off tonight. Pure excitement. And who better to talk to than my good friend, track and field expert and former national athlete, Dwayne Extol. And we started with the amazing 400-meter hurdles world record from Sydney McLaughlin.
I think that may be the best ever track and field performance we've ever seen. I thought last year with Karsten Warholm, the sub 46 and the 400-meter hurdles on men, but for this to happen, and I think she can take it a little further. I mean, she has the capabilities to go sub 50, and if that happens, then I'm done with watching track and field for the rest of my life, because it was staggering, and I think that performance has surpassed all other performances outside of Jackie Jonah Kersey's world record in the multi events. This has to be by far the best track and field accomplishment and meet and feat ever I've ever seen.
I was gonna ask if it, I was thinking about Bolt's 958, 1919, Warholm, Rojas, what she did last year, but you're saying that even that surpasses Bolt?
Yep. Yeah, because I think we've seen with Noah Lyles 1931 actually, that the 200-meter record is capable. Someone is able to get there. The 958, someone I think is capable of getting there as well. But that sub 51, I've never seen someone execute a race so. And it wasn't flawless. I should say that wasn't a flawless race, because hurdles 8 and 9, hurdles 8 and 10, she had to shuffle, she had to switch legs, and she made the adjustments. So I think she has so much more to give in the event that she's almost on video game mode, because to run that fast, she would have finished 7th, she would have finished 6th in the open 400. So that's brilliant, man. Brilliant.
Yeah. Speaking of that, a lot of people expect her now to go down to the flat 4 to test herself. But do you think she should probably continue in the 4 hurdles and see if she can go sub 50 and maybe one day even sub 49?
I think so. I think that's the aim for any athlete. I think part of the reason why I'm a little upset with Usain Bolt that he didn't go all the way with the 200 meters. He should have taken it into a realm where no one else would have gotten sub 19. But Sydney has the capability of doing that, putting that record in a place where no one can touch it. I think that's the aim. But I think she's accomplished all she needs to accomplish at this level. The Olympic champion, the world record holder. I mean, it's about time. Normally you see people moving from the 400 flat to the 400 hurdles, but hardly ever do you see someone move from the 400 hurdles back to the 400 meters. So I think and a lot of Americans believe that she's their best 400 meter runner. So to see what she can do over the flat it remains to be seen, because we've seen Karsten Warholm after his sub 46 seconds the 400 meter hurdles didn't do so well over 400 meters. So it remains to be seen. But Sydney has run some good 400s, some good 4x4s. Expect us to see her on the 4x4 for the United States if they get to the final.
Yeah. Speaking of the flat 4, we also saw the women's 400-meter final. The amazing Shawnee Miller-Weibo, obliterating the field. Marlady Paulina and Shadi Williams getting silver and bronze. But we did have Stephanie Ann McPherson, who finished 5th, Candice McLeod in 7th. Were you sort of surprised that we didn't get on the podium and sneak in for bronze?
Well, we haven't seen the same kind of form replicated from last year. We saw the national championship, and Stephanie had won in 49.6, and Candice dipping under 50 seconds. Stephanie had gone to the Olympic Games in the semi-final, 49.34, Candice 49.50. So we didn't see that same kind of form replicated in this season, even at our national championship. So I didn't expect us to be on the podium, because it would have taken sub 50 to get there. So I think our ladies did well. Commendable. Stephanie making another world, a global final. She hasn't missed one since 2013. So that in itself is a brilliant feat. Candice, I think she, as she said in her interview, felt a little flat. I think part of the reason was, not the same Candice McLeod that we saw last year, but she still managed to get to her second global final. And in a race where Shawnee Miller Weber just dominated from start to finish, I think Paulino didn't have an answer for her, and Shade Williams ran a brave 350 meters and just held on for bronze.
Yeah, speaking of Miller Weber, she seems to have a love-hate relationship with the 400. Last year, she tried the double and she realized that the 200 was a little too hot for her and decided to put most of her focus in the 400. I think that she said this might be the last year running the 400. She could change her mind. But is this the perfect way to go out, especially with the dominance that she won the race with?
Yeah, I think it's a great achievement for her, a great accomplishment. I really wanted to see her go up against Saouid Nasser though. With her absence, it kind of takes away a little shine off the event, because Saouid Nasser is right now one of the best 400-meter runners on the female side. But Shawnee Miller Weber has ascended herself into legendary status, accomplishing what many haven't. Carifta Games champion, under 17, under 20, world youth, world juniors, world indoors, world outdoors, Olympic champion. She has done it all. I don't think there's anyone else who's accomplished what she's accomplished. What I would have wanted her to see, I would have wanted to see her go up against Saouid Nasser for this world championship title, and that would have made it a little bit sweeter. But she's accomplished all she's needed to accomplish. I think the 200 meter may be a little bit hot right now. It will be hot for the next couple of years with Lysa Sharika Jackson, who Shawnee Miller Weber used to beat at the Carifta level. So it's interesting to see how that goes. But I think a great way to sign off if she does sign off from the 400 meters.
Yeah, in the men's equivalent, Michael Norman, the champion, Kirani James, and Matthew Hudson Smith, the top three. Another Jamaican in the race, Christopher Taylor, making another major final, finishing seventh. What do you think that he possibly needs to improve on so that when he gets to these major finals, he can potentially challenge the likes of Michael Norman, Kirani James, Hudson Smith, Van Niekerk, etc.?
Well, if you look at Chris Taylor compared to the rest of the field, he is the shortest in the field by far, and he's the smallest in the field in terms of stature. You look at Mike Norman, you look at Kirani James, Matthew Hudson Smith, all those guys are over 6 feet. So they have the range when it comes on to their stride length, their stride frequency, their cadence over 400 meters. And sometimes with Chris, it looks like he's sprinting all the way. There is no phase where he allows himself to just relax and lope down the backstretch or, get into a comfort zone. It's going to be difficult. I really think, and this is my opinion, for Chris to be successful at the senior level, he would have to make the switch for the 1 and the 2, because he is, of course, the joint national junior record holder at 100 meters, has run fabulous 200 meters. But I think, as we've seen before with the likes of Fred Curley and Sharika Jackson, quartermilers who are stepped down to the 100, 200 meters have had or reaped great results. So I think for him in this field, because I look at him and I remember Lugalin Santos from the Dom Rep, he always the shortest in the field. I think he ran 44.1 one year and missed out on a medal, finished fourth at the Olympic Games. I think it was 2016 or 2012, I don't remember. But his stature didn't allow him to go up against the best. And with Chris and his health issues, with asthma and all of that, I really think a switch to the shorter sprint would reap benefits for him, because I think he's good. He's good at the sprints. He's good at the shorter sprints. I'm happy that he's made his second consecutive global final. A lot of people would have said, he's gone through the champ system and didn't accomplish this, but he has proven again that he has what it takes to compete against the best in the world. And I really think a switch is on the cards for him if he wants to get to that level where he's highly competitive at the senior level.
Yeah, I think I have to agree more so with the 200 meters, because if our national champion Andrew Hudson wasn't even able to compete, didn't go under sub 20 either. Johan Blake, is tapering off a bit because we know of his injury issues and so forth. And Rashid Dwyer, our most consistent 200 runner over the years, also getting up in age. So I think that you're probably right. He could end up being our best 200-meter runner if he does take that route.
Yeah, and we have a couple of youngsters coming through the ranks as well, Sandra Davidson and Brian Lavelle. I think about those two because they have great upside and they're young. But I want to point out one important thing that I've discovered just through reading and as a research and talking to people. The Americans, they have swept the sprints, the short sprints for men, 1, 2, 4. And it's not a no thing. They've been planning this since 2015, 2016. I remember a gentleman had said from the IMG Academy that they are waiting until the boat retires for them to really come back to the fore. And I mean, they've shown it. Last year, they were just unfortunate at the Olympic Games not to win any of the sprint events. 1, 2, 4 sprint hurdles. They didn't win any of those. But they came back this year with a little bit of vengeance. And it's hard to deny them. They've prepared for quite some time for this event. You think about Noah Lyles, you think about Mike Norman. They made the Olympic finals in 2016 at just 17, 18 years old. So they have a conveyor belt of talent coming through because the likes of Arian Knight now at 18 years old, the youngest ever to win a medal at the World Championship level. It shows that they've been prepared. So I think what we are missing as a nation is the ability to prepare for the future. The women will be fine on the sprint side for years to come. We've seen that. But for the men, I think the lack of preparation on our side in terms of getting our men to the place where they need to understand that this is what we're trying to accomplish. I think that's what's doing us an injustice.
Yeah, have to agree. Let's talk about the women's 800 meters before we touch that 200 meters. Adele Tracy just missing out, but Natalia Gould in yet another 800 meter final. I don't know what the record is, but she must have some record of making the most finals without a medal. But do you think that this year's is finally the chance to do it? I know last year when we spoke, we thought it was written in the stars. She was dominating on the circuit, but just didn't get there. Now being closer to home and with all the conditions, can she break into that top 3?
It's going to be tough. I think Mo of the United States, Keely Hutchins of the UK, Raven Rogers is there. So it is going to be tough for her, but she ran a very smart semi-final today. She ran a very smart semi-final when she did. I think what I took away from that is that she ran a measured race. She didn't go too hard and allow the field to come back to her, because that's been the issue whether outdoor or indoor. She's gone out a little too far ahead of the pace, and then the field has come back to her. So I think part of the thing now is she ran a smart semi-final, and I love how she managed herself and managed to hold off Raven Rogers, who's a fast finisher and who has finished very fast in the past. Even at the Olympic Games last year, very strong finisher. So I think I want her to get a medal. She's an athlete that I've known since ever. We all came through the same junior ranks, and I want her to get a medal, and I'd love for her to be on the podium. It will take smart running, though. It will take very smart running, very tactical running, and it may be slow. And I think part of the reason why athletes sometimes need to realize you don't have to run fast to win. You just have to run smart. As Mike Norman had shown, 44.3, not the fastest time he's ever run, but he managed to win. So for Gould, it's a matter of running the smartest race you can, the most tactical race that you can. And then if you set yourself up for a sprint finish, Raven Rogers, you have to be some distance away from her. Keely Hodgkins also good at the final 150, so to a thing more. It's going to take smart running and tactical running for her to get a medal.
Dwayne Extol there. We still have much more to talk about, but we have to take a break, and we'll come back with more.
Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
King for the summer. Flow, you are the king for the flow. Some summer. 60 mil cash and prize for the winners. Run a summer. Enough winners. Make sure you're in.
Win your share of over $60 million in cash and prizes. Scratch your phone and win instant prize. Plus a chance for win weekly prize of cash, tablets, and smart TVs. Dial *129 *6 number sign to activate any unlimited social plan. Get a yard and road plan or pay your bill on time and in full to win. Visit discoverflow.co. Conditions apply.
Flow some summer. 60 mil cash and prize for the winners. Enough winners. Make sure you're in. The king said that. King for the summer. Flow, you are the king for the flow some summer. Plenty prize in a flow some summer.
Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
The Jamaica Agricultural Society, in association with the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, present
the Denby Agricultural, Industrial and Food Show
from July 30 to August 1
at the Denby Showground, Maypen, Clarendon. Gates open 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily.
Admission $1,200 for adults, $600 for children. Jamaicans, grow smart, eat smart. Come celebrate Jamaica 60 at Denby 2022.
The world is changing and so should you. Diversify your career and get local and international certification in 2 to 6 months at Distinction College. Start online and face-to-face class in medical assistant, medical lab tech, pediatrics and psychiatric nursing, ECG tech, home attendant, hairdressing, makeup, meal tech, call center, supervisory and events planning management, cashiering, media broadcasting and travel tourism. Register this week and get free subjects and free courses. No subjects required, no age limits. Visit us in Kingston, Spanish Town, Outaris and St. Elizabeth. Call us at 876-356-4167.
Welcome back. We are back outside with family, friends, and more fun at Fun Fest Family Festival. Monday, August 1st, come experience the new Hope Garden. Bounce, spin, ride, play, splash in the fantastic fun zone, games arcade, and bingo. Adults 1,000, children 3 years and over 700, and toddlers free. Fun Fest Family Festival, Monday, August 1st, Emancipation Day at the new Hope Garden. Gates open at 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come out early.
You know you like that.
It is 27 minutes to 2 o'clock.
Back to Sports Talk right here on Love 101. We are in our final segment. Before we get back to our conversation with Dwayne Extol, let's hear from 3 of our medalists so far. Sharika Jackson, Shanika Ricketts, but first, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price.
It's my 5th world title in the 100, so it's definitely special, and I'm doing it 35. Yes, I said 35, so I'm grateful for that. You know, I've always just trusted myself and my coach and believed in my abilities, and once I'm healthy, I'm going to compete.
And how about the clean sweep by Jamaica? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it was definitely something on the cards. You know, I'm glad that I was the one who finished first in the sweep, so I'm glad for that, and I'm glad that, you know, the other ladies were able to come through and were able to celebrate a 1, 2, 3. And one thing that I would also like to say, all 3 of us are coached by 3 different individuals in Jamaica, and it just speaks to the depth that we have. And if you're in Jamaica, you know, if you decide you want to go anywhere, it can happen, you know, and I'm grateful for that.
Shelly, 5-time champion. What is the secret behind your drive and your hunger, and who are some of the persons that you'd like to give credit to?
The secret behind my success is I'm a competitor. I love to compete, and I believe that God has given me a gift, and I somehow feel special, you know, and I always want to compete and show the work that I've been doing, and I'm hardworking, I'm driven, and I'm always hungry to do more because I believe there's more to be done, you know, and I definitely believe I can run faster, and once I have that belief, I'm not going to stop until I do.
Last time in Doha, you had your support crew, your son and your husband. Are they here today?
Yes, my husband and my son are in the stands. funny enough, they don't really like the spotlight, so they'll sit all the way at the top, not to have anybody see them. But I'm grateful that I have the support in my husband, especially. He came all the way over here, and just to make sure that I'm okay. We're staying in my Airbnb. We're having fun, and I definitely want to thank Grace Kennedy and Digital and Nike for their support and their continued support with supporting me throughout the years, because being able to have a team that believes in your potential and what you're able to do is really, really remarkable. I just wanted to execute the best race possible tonight, and I think I did that. I got a massive personal best, a championship record, and a gold medal. I can't complain.
How confident were you coming into this event? It was your first major championship in the 200 meters. What happened last year, getting redemption?
I've always liked the 200 a lot, and last year was really heartbreaking when I never made it past the heats of the 200. So I never wanted to make that mistake, and after the semi-final I smiled and I was like, yes, I'm in good shape, I'm ready to run, I am very, very fit. So after the semi-final, coach and I spoke, and he was like, he don't know what to tell me, and I was like, no, you can tell me. And I think tonight, I think I did pretty good, and I think coach won't have any problems. So I'm just grateful just to be here. Last year I cried so much, and I can say finally I can go watch the heat of the Olympic 200.
21:45. Can you believe that time? Are you pinching yourself? You think you had it in you?
I know I was capable of running fast. I wanted to run fast, and I know once I execute a good 200, I'll definitely go fast. Because if you watch a semi-final yesterday, or day before yesterday, you will realize that I ran the curve and wasn't running too hard on the home stretch. So I know definitely I had fast times in my leg, and to come out here and do it is just a great feeling.
I feel over the moon. I was disappointed last year, finishing 4th. I mean, it's better to finish 8th than to finish 4th, because you're so close but yet so far away from the medal. And then to come out tonight and to be on the podium once more, I'm over the moon. I'm happy, I'm pleased, and I'm just so grateful.
And you're competing with some of the best ladies. You are one of the best ladies in the world. What does it mean to be able to compete with all these ladies on the biggest stage?
I feel like every time I step on the track with these ladies, it's war. I know that nothing is safe. I know that I have to bring my A game, and I have so much respect for them as persons. And I think every time we compete, it's going to be a good show because everyone is bringing their A game.
And like you said, you got that 4th place in Tokyo, but you came back and got the silver medal again now. How did you use that as motivation and overcome some of the setbacks that you had over the past year?
I basically just focus on keep moving forward. It's done and dusted and I can't go back. So I just decided to use it as fuel going into the season and basically ironing out some of the technical glitches that caused me to finish 4th, and that's what I've been doing.
And the consistency over the years, you have been one of the top triple jumpers for so many years, but you're still extremely young and have a long way to go. How have you been so consistent?
I think the consistency comes with being disciplined and just basically owning your craft. I think once you learn certain fundamentals of the triple jump, it's a given to stay consistent. And it's incredibly hard work. It's a lot of focus. It's a lot of dedication and sacrifices. I haven't seen my family and friends sometime in weeks, and it's just all of that to come to this point year after year.
Shanika Ricketts there after winning silver in the women's triple jump. Let's talk about Shericka Jackson's performance. So let's go back to our conversation with Dwayne Extol. Shericka Jackson on Thursday, winning the 200 meters in a championship record 21:45. Earlier, you said that Sydney's performance is one of the best ever, and you said that Bolt's 19:19 seems challengeable because of what Noah Lyles did. Years and years gone by, we thought that FloJo record is just not attainable. But knowing that Shericka went so close, how would you assess that performance in terms of the all-time list?
Well, I think a lot of different factors have to be taken into consideration because I think that performance would line up as so. I have Sydney as first, the 99.58 as second, the 45.9 by Carson Varham as third, 91.9 by Bolt as fourth. I think for Sharika, she probably ends up at sixth because I put Elaine Thompson's 10.54 at fifth. I think that performance, as awesome as it was, I think it could have she had a chance to break the record, I think, in the semifinal. The wind was perfect, positive 2.0 meters per second, and she literally walked through the line at 21.6. I think if there was ever a time, ever a moment for her to break that world record, it would have been in the semifinal. But no, we've seen she had gone through 5 rounds of running. The 100 meters, 3 rounds, and 2 rounds of the 200 meters, personal best in the 100. So her legs, after almost 6 days of heavy running, she still manages to come back at 21:45. So that now says to me, if she gets a one-off run in ideal conditions, the world record could go. But then, we're playing a guessing game here. But a brilliant performance by her. It was on the cards from the national championship when we saw her run the 21:54. She was miles ahead of everyone else, and she's improved that personal best over 100 meters. She still has room to grow in the event, and her coach has said it well. The team at MVP has said it that she has room to improve. And with her background strength at 400 meters, 49.4, the best all-round sprinter, female of all time, I think she has taken the event by storm. I believe strongly that if there's anyone to challenge that 21.3 by Florence Griffin Joyner, it's definitely Sherika Jackson.
Yeah. Shelly Ann Fraser Price, silver in the 200 meters. Not her favorite event, as she keeps saying, but this season she's been pretty consistent running sub 22. I think everybody was expecting the top three to maybe have been Sharika, Elaine, and Abby Steiner. So what does that even say about Shelly at 35 not running her favorite event, running some hard rounds in the 100 and becoming champion, to come back and, come second to the second fastest time in history?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think a lot of people had those three in the mix from the beginning, Sharika, Abby, and Elaine. But if you look at what Shelly has done, even last year, 21.77 at national championship, I think at the Olympic Games, fatigue just got the best of her. I think this time around, her coach Ronaldo Walcott would have realized what needed to be tweaked at the right time, what adjustments needed to have been made. And Shelley made a declaration, this is probably her last 200 meters. So to come out and close out a world championship with the 200 meter silver medal, she had a fantastic start. I think she was first off the corner. If I remember the splits correctly, it's 11.03 over the first 100 meters for her, Sharika 11.04. So Shelley came out with the intention of running as fast as she could, but there's nothing stopping the second fastest woman alive. So for Shelley to get that silver medal behind Sharika after winning the 100, collecting her fifth 100 meter title, she goes on as the greatest sprinter of all time, male or female. I think she has done everything that could have been asked of her. She's dominated the sport for almost a decade, and not many can say they have done that. And she's done it after going through different adversities, and she's risen above all the challenges, and she's come out on top each and every time. So for her to close off the 200 meters with a silver medal performance, it's great. It's great for us, and it's great to see. And I'm happy to be alive at this time. As Drake always say, what a time to be alive, to see the likes of Shelly Ann Fraser Price.
Yeah, what a time indeed. Unfortunately, Elaine Thompson-Herah, after a stunning 2021, where we thought that she would be the biggest challenger to those sprint records, getting third in the 100 meters, finishing seventh in the 200 in 22:39. Her change of coaches, is well documented. Do you think that this is almost a transition year for her? I know that she had those very high expectations in after 2021 when she dominated at Tokyo and then did those times in the Diamond League. Do you think that she's just using this year as that transition with her her husband as her coach, and maybe we'll see a much improved Elaine in 2023? Or do you think that she might have to probably find another coach? Some people have suggested that she go back, but what would you make of her year so far?
Well, a lot of people they're quick to say, she needs another coach, she needs to go back to Steve Francis. But I, for one, whatever decision she's decided to make, and she's made her decision, I think she's comfortable with her decision, regardless of what the performances say on the track. We may be disappointed as a nation because we're always hoping for the best, but she's made a decision based on factors I think that are greater than track and field. I'd love to see Elaine back in that 21:50, that 10:54 form. I'd love to see her back in that shape, because that says to me, if she's running that fast and Sharika's running as fast as she is, we can put the women's 4x1 world record into a different stratosphere. But I feel for her, and I think Jamaicans and us as fans of the sport, they have high expectations based on the season she had last year, because we can all admit it, she was untouchable. Like, I've never seen a female sprinter that dominant in a season. Shirley Fraser-Price has been consistent over the years, so she's won titles. But the manner in which Elaine Thompson-Herro had gone about her business over the 100 and 200 meters is something to behold. Becoming the second fastest woman over 200 and 100 in the same season really said a lot, especially after the early season problems that she had. But I think it's a litmus test. We just have to wait and see what happens next year, because if we can't judge the move this year or judge the performance based on the move this year, we have to see what happens next year. And even if she doesn't come back to the same level of prominence that she was before, she's our double Olympic champion, the first woman to ever have done that in history. A lot of respect has to be paid to her and her dedication. She's come from almost nothing in terms of the sprinting world and track and field, and to have elevated herself to the point where she at one point was the fastest woman alive over 200 meters and 100 meters. It says a lot, after with the records that have been set by Flojo and the questions around those records, she has come into a time where she was dominant, and it's the nature of sport. Sometimes you're dominant and sometimes you're not. You're at the top of your game and something happens, changes happen, you move to a different space, and then someone else comes in, because nature abhors a vacuum. So if you're the fastest one in the world and you're no longer on that kind of shape, someone else will come in to take your space. So I think that's what we've seen, and we just have to wait to see what next year brings. I think the questions will be asked, as naturally people will ask questions when you make changes. But I think I'm pleased for her getting her first world championship medal over 100 meters. She's had her misfortunes in the past, so I'm happy she has gotten over that hurdle. But I think a lot of questions are still going to be asked. But I, for one, I'm proud of what she's done and what she's accomplished. And I'll just, like most people, just have to sit and wait to see what happens next year.
Yeah, she should leave the championships with a gold medal, because we do compete in the 4x1 for women later today. Sharika Jackson, Elaine, Shelly Ann missed out on the heats, but should come out for that final. And we expect Kemba Nelson to be that fourth, or it could be Brianna Williams. But do you think, with the right conditions, that the world record is going?
Well, I think for one, the championship record 41.02, I think that should go. I think we have enough star power, enough firepower to take that record from 41.02 to dip under 41 seconds for the second time in history. I mean, as a team, we've never gone below 41. US have the world record at 40.8. So I think with the personnel that we have, and I really think Brianna Williams should line up in that 4x1 final. And I love Kemba Nelson. She's had a fantastic year. But I think, as we've seen with most of the athletes from the NCAA season, they've run their legs out from under them. They've been tired. They've been lackluster. So I think Brianna Williams, she's had a fantastic season so far. I mean, a little bit hot and cold, but I think she's had the experience from last year Olympic Games at 19 years old to now at 20 to lead off, and she ran the fastest lead off leg in the relay prelims. So she knows what to do and how to get the job done. and to keep that same quartet from last year with Shelly Fraser Price in peak form, Shrika Jackson at the peak of her absolute power. She's at her very, very best this year. She and Elaine Thompson era in that team. I think we go close to the world record, we challenge it with the right button changes and fast button changes like we've seen with the Great Britain team. I think we get the world record.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. With the men's 4x1, not the greatest heat, but even coming into the championships, I don't think that many Jamaicans were optimistic that we'd get a gold. But drafting in oblique, if Johan comes in and is available for that, do you think that we can get on the podium?
Yeah, I think the team is missing just the relay sharpness. I think the likes of, I remember last year at the Olympic Games, Javon Mings, Julian Fort and company with Oblique Civil got us the fifth. And sometimes you have people who are very good at the flat event, but then you have some people who are much better at running relays. So I don't think we have that X factor in the relay where we can say, all right, we'll challenge for a bronze medal, because the US, as I said, they've gone on to sweep all the short sprints. So the expectation is that they will win the 4x100 meters. The minor medals now, Great Britain, Italy without Marcel Jacobs, they expected the Ghanaians. Oh my goodness. How can I leave out the Ghanaians? They ran a fabulous ankle leg from lane 8 to get themselves into condition. Andre de Grasse would be an anchor for the Canadian team. He's opted out of the 200 meters to give himself and his team a chance to win a medal. And that goes to show the importance of team, because he knew he didn't stand a chance in the 200 meters. So he did what was necessary to prepare himself and his team for this 4x1 onslaught for a medal. So if all athletes would have been thinking the same, I think Johan Blake should have done the same thing, because he wasn't in contention of getting to the final. I know the pride is there, and maybe there are conversations about the shoe contract and what he has to fulfill. But for the Andre de Grasse, the Olympic champion over 200 meters, to say, hey, I'm not in the best of shape, I'm going to just sit this one out and get ready for the 4x1 with my team, shows the dedication to getting a medal, because a lot of athletes, they don't matter. It doesn't matter the color medal. Everybody wants gold. But if you get silver or bronze, you're happy with that as well, because to go there and finish fourth or fifth, especially fourth, it's the hardest thing at any championship to finish. So I think it's going to be difficult if we don't get the stick around as fast as we need to. We have a young team, Team Blake. Jelani Walker looked fabulous on ankle leg. I must say that about him. Yeah. He's improved tremendously. So I think you keep him on the team, but you draft for big civilian as well. But then how does the order go? So that's a discussion for the relay coaches to have. I'm just an analyst sitting in a bedroom on a laptop screen. So I really want to see Akeem Blake, Oblique Civil, and Jelani Walker. Whoever joins them as the fourth person, I think if we get good stick changes, we'll be in a hunt for a medal.
Yeah, the heats of the 4x4 for men and women get underway later today as well. Saying safely that they both make it to the final, what do you think our chances are for both teams?
Well, I think for the men, it's difficult to see us getting to the final based on the personnel, I think, or at least what I've heard, we have available. If they run smart, if they manage to get through the rows and get to the final, a medal is a little out of the way, because the Dominican Republic men have been running well. The Americans, as always, they have a good team. Netherlands, they have a good team as well. The Botswanans, they have also a good team, put together a good team. So it's going to be difficult for us if we get to that final to get a medal. But the women, though, I think the Americans didn't have a woman in the 400-meter final, but their best 400-meter runners were running different events. So one was running the 400-meter hurdles, the other will line up in the 800 meters. So I think they still have a really good squad in terms of getting gold. But our women, Stephanie Ann McPherson, Candice McLeod, those two leaders in that event will be joined by the likes of Julian Bromfield, Tiffany James Rose, Stacey Ann Williams, Cherokee Young. That group of women, I think, if, like we did in 2015, if we're able to spring that kind of surprise on them, we don't have, at least I don't think we'll have Sharika Jackson for the 4x4, because if she was a part of it, then this thing blows wide open, and we are definitely favorites. But without Shirka Jackson, that X factor in the 4x4, I think we battled the Americans for the gold medal.
Our other major medal came from Shanika Ricketts in the women's triple jump. Back-to-back silver medals at the World Championships. 14.89 to get that silver. It almost seems impossible to catch Yulimar Rojas, who did 15.47 meters, and she seemed disappointed that she didn't even go higher than that. But knowing our context here in Jamaica, knowing us as a sprint nation, how special is it to have Shanika getting back-to-back silver medals at a major championships?
Yeah, those silver medals for me feel like gold, because she's competing against the best woman to ever compete in the triple jump, and it's she made amends for the Olympic Games last year. Didn't get a medal, squeezed out and pushed into fourth. So she came out, and I think a part of what I like about her approach is that the very first jump she made a big one, and oftentimes I think that's the key in the field events. It's either the first one is big or the last penultimate one is big, because that's when you unsettle your competitors. So for us as a nation to have her getting another silver medal is great. Women have been by the standard bearers for Jamaica in athletics overall. They've gotten all our medals so far, and the thing that we had 3 women in the triple jump final, young Akila Smith and the veteran Kimberly Williams, it shows that we are not just a sprint nation. And if the authorities or the powers that be can continue to realize how important it is to invest in these areas, we can still be amongst the top competitors in the world in terms of the medal table. But if we can win a medal in the triple jump or sneak a medal in the high jump, because we've seen 2 women get to the final with Lamara Distin and Kimberly Williamson, it bodes well for us in terms of our overall standing, because if we can get medals in the sprint and then get medals in the throws and the hurdles and the jumps, then collectively we'll do better as a nation. Because if they approach it like the champs model that we use, you can have sprints and not win the championship. But if you have sprints here and a dash of throws here and a sprinkle of jumps there and at the hurdles, you put all that together, we'll be high on the medal table. We won't top it for sure, because the likes of Americans have an all-around unit that collects medals in every area. But if we focus on the things that we are strong in and the things that we have the potential, we're knocking on the door of winning medals, like Shanika has done with triple jump, it will do well for us in the future in terms of climbing that medal table.
Yeah. Finally, the sprint hurdles for women on Sunday. We have Brittany Anderson, Megan Tapper, and Danielle Williams. As I said in previous weeks, there's no such things as all things being equal in the hurdles. But I think Brittany Anderson is probably our best chance at getting gold, but not ruling out Danielle or Megan at all. What do you think are our women's chances on Sunday?
Yeah, and I think you put it very correctly when you said no such thing as all things being equal. The hurdle is such an unpredictable event, and I think back to Hansa Parchment not being able to compete in the final. And it's so crazy. After the season he had last year, not expected to get a medal, not expected to get to the final, goes out and win. This year, the howling favorite coming in behind the Americans as the Olympic champion and didn't even get to line up. So the hurdle is very unpredictable, but I think this is the time now for Brittany Anderson, having had the season she had last year, to come to the fore. I think the World Under-20 champion from a couple of years ago has the tools, the speed, the technique, the mettle to challenge the likes of Jasmine Camacho Quinn and Kendra Harrison for the top spot. But I think all 3 of our ladies make it to the final. Megan Tapper, the Olympic bronze medalist, I think for some reason when it gets to the championship, she changes. Like she transforms into a different person, because for all year she didn't run as well as we thought she would have run. She's run times that people would have said, boy, she now made the final, she now made the team, and she always shows up. So I think She would have learned from her disappointments in the past and her achievement at the Olympic Games last year to get her way into the final. Our 2015 champion, Danielle Williams, I think just a competitor, like a really great competitor. She knows how to get it done and when to get it done, but she'll find it going a little difficult because as it stands right now, those three women, Camacho Quinn, Harrison, and a very young Brittany Anderson, who I think has a great shot at breaking the national record, will be vying for the top three spots. But it's going to be a great event, the women's sprint hurdles. And speaking about the hurdles, I forgot to mention Jail Hyde. Like, it would be remiss of me to speak about the hurdles and speak about the World Championships and not mention Jahil and what he's done. I think that was the bravest race I've ever seen him run, 48-0. And I think now he knows that this is how the 400-meter hurdles is run. I've seen him run 400-meter hurdles and development meets, and it's always this passive kind of approach to the event. Now he knows if you're going to be amongst the best or beat the best, you have to go aggressive and you have to go attack. So his body has now catapulted into a different space where he knows the pain that I feel, it's the pain that I'm supposed to feel and not back away from that and not shy away from that. I think that's what a lot of our men are missing in terms of their execution of the 400 or the 200. You can't be afraid of the pain that will come because it will come at some point, but you have to learn how to push past that. So I'm really happy for Jahil and what he's accomplished.
Yeah, run like a true Wolmerian. Yeah, big up Jail for real. I get caught geese. That's Sports Talk for this week, Saturday, July 23. Special thanks to my special guest for this week, Dwayne Extol. And please remember to continue watching the World Championships. Just 2 days left. Next week, we will do a full review of the major performances. So stay tuned to what's going on in Eugene, Oregon, and come with your thoughts next week, your comments, everything, and we will discuss it then. So Sports Talk was brought to you by the Jamaica Customs Agency, country above self. That's it. Please stay safe this weekend. Enjoy everything that you do, including watching the World Athletics Championship. So take care.
Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a